There comes a time in your life where you realize peace is not a luxury. It's not something you enjoy only when things go right. It's not reserved for vacations or quiet weekends. Peace is a necessity, a form of power, a sacred space you must learn to protect, no matter what it costs. But the problem is, most of us don't know how to do that without guilt. We've been taught to be available, to be nice, to be agreeable, to always pick up the phone, to always say yes, to always say, it's okay, even when it's not. But where does that leave you? Exhausted, overwhelmed, frustrated, resentful, drowning in noise and obligations, wondering when it will finally be your turn to rest. So today, I want to give you a message that could change the course of your emotional life. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to put yourself first. And no, you do not have to feel guilty for doing so. Let's start with this truth. You don't owe your presence to everyone who asks for it. Not every call needs to be answered. Not every argument deserves your energy. Not every invitation requires your attendance. You are allowed to choose yourself. Protecting your peace means filtering your access. Ask yourself this: who has access to me right now that hasn't earned it? Who am I constantly explaining myself to just to be understood? Who leaves me feeling drained instead of nourished? These are the questions that open the door to peace. Because once you realize that not everyone deserves a front row seat to your life, you begin to understand that peace is a boundary, not just a feeling. But here's the part that's hard. Setting boundaries often comes with guilt. Because when you start choosing yourself, you start hearing things like, you've changed. You don't care anymore. You're being selfish. You think you're better than us now. And if you're a sensitive soul, an empath, a giver, that guilt can eat you alive. But let me remind you, you didn't come here to be everything for everyone. You came here to live in truth, to honor your capacity, to pour from a full cup, not an empty one. Guilt is a sign you were conditioned to prioritize others over yourself. Peace is a sign that you finally remembered who you are. Let me say this again for the ones still doubting. Protecting your peace is not rude. It's not mean. It's not selfish. It's survival. And the people who love you, truly love you, they won't guilt you for resting. They won't punish you for needing space. They won't weaponize your boundaries against you. They'll respect your no. They'll honor your silence. They'll understand that peace is not just about being calm. It's about being well. Now let's talk about what protecting your peace actually looks like in real life. Because it's not just candles and bubble baths. Sometimes protecting your peace looks like muting conversations that drain your spirit, saying, "No, I'm not available," and leaving it at that. Not picking up that call when you know it'll wreck your energy. Stepping away from social media. Canceling plans when your body and mind say rest. Not engaging in arguments with people committed to misunderstanding you. Letting people be wrong about you. Yes, you're allowed to let people be wrong about you. That's one of the highest levels of peace. Releasing the need to be seen accurately by those who never tried to understand you anyway. You do not need to prove your worth. You do not need to defend your boundaries. You do not need to explain why your energy has limits. Your peace doesn't need permission. If you don't protect your peace, someone will take it from you, piece by piece. They won't do it maliciously. In fact, most of the time they won't even realize they're doing it. But little by little you'll notice. You're anxious all the time. You're irritated by small things. You can't hear your own thoughts. You feel like you're never alone, even when you are. You can't remember the last time you felt still. That's what happens when you give your peace away in the name of being nice. But here's what you need to understand. You can be kind without being available to everyone. You can be loving without tolerating disrespect. You can be understanding and still say, I choose peace over this chaos. And yes, it will take practice. Because when you've been conditioned to feel guilty for protecting yourself, every act of self-preservation feels like rebellion. But guess what? You're allowed to rebel against your old patterns. You're allowed to stop showing up for the drama you didn't create. You're allowed to stop explaining your no. Now let's talk about a few phrases you need to get comfortable saying. Because words are boundaries, words are shields. Start practicing these. I'm not available right now. That doesn't work for me. I'm choosing peace, and that means stepping away from this. I need some space, and I hope you understand. I won't continue this conversation if it compromises my peace. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to justify. You don't even need to explain unless you want to. Clarity is love. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do, for both yourself and others, is be honest about your limits. Let's flip the narrative for a second. Instead of saying, I feel bad for not showing up, try saying, I'm proud of myself for listening to what I need. Instead of, I feel guilty for saying no, say, I feel grounded for honoring my energy. Because when you protect your peace, you're not only taking care of yourself, you're teaching others how to do the same. You're modeling what emotional maturity looks like. You're breaking cycles of codependency. You're becoming the version of you that doesn't abandon herself to be liked. Now I get it. Guilt is sneaky. It'll show up as anxiety. It'll whisper in your ear, you're being too cold, too distant, too harsh. But that voice, that's not your soul talking. That's your conditioning. And you get to unlearn it. You get to remind yourself, peace is your right. And anyone who truly cares for you wants you to have it. I want to leave you with this. You don't find peace. You create it with boundaries, with choices, with intentional energy, with the decision to no longer be a container for other people's chaos. So protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because it does. Peace is the foundation. When you have it, everything flows from a better place. Your relationships improve. Your creativity awakens. Your body rests. Your mind clears. Your spirit expands. You become you again, beneath the noise, the obligations, the pressure to perform. And you'll realize peace was never outside of you. It was always within, waiting, asking, will you choose me this time? Say yes. Say yes to peace. Say yes to yourself. And do it without guilt. Because guilt fades. But peace lasts.